a little bit about Google Forms for recording observations. And again, I'm not going to teach you how to do a Google form here because different people are at different places in their learning and we just have a limited time here. And to be honest, some people will want to go down this path and some people won't. But again, the purpose of this is just to show you different ways that you might want to record your students' observations and to just kind of show you what's out there. So if at the end of this little video you think this is something that your team or you might be interested in, then of course you can always get in touch with Client Services. That's the great team formerly known as BNLT. Or you can contact me directly, or you can find someone in your school who may not be teaching kindergarten, but who may have some capacity in terms of Google Forms. So here's just a quick overview. I'm currently logged in as myself. I click the little 9 squares here and I look for forms and I don't see it. So I click more and I click forms. And it's going to take me to the place where I can start a new form. But actually, I've already created a form as an example here, so we're going to skip right ahead to the form that I created. Now, I presumed that I would have 2 classes, and I might call one class the blue class and one class the red class, just for ease of dividing the students. And of course, I made my blue class blue so that visually I can tell which class I'm working with. So I put as a reminder to myself, what do you notice? Think key learning, growth in learning, next steps in learning. And I just put very few questions because I want this to be quick. This is just another way of recording your observations. Think of it as a digital sticky note. So I wrote this observation is being made by, and here are the names of the staff members working in the class, ECEs and teachers. Oh, I'm trying to click it, but it's not letting me. And here is a spot where I can write student name, where I can put in my observations. And again, just a little text that I'm going to write. And then because I want to organize it in a way that will be helpful for report card writing time, I wrote one question called belonging and contributing. And it's a simple check, yes or no. If it's no, I leave it blank. Self-regulation and well-being, demonstrating literacy and mathematics behavior, problem solving and innovation. And at the very end, I wrote, this observation also applies to this or these other students. So for example, if I'm writing an observation about Jessica, but she happens to be playing with Tony, or Tony happens to be doing the same thing, I can also include Tony's name here. Now, when you're looking at your Google form, you'll notice a spot on the top that says responses. You get a summary of your responses, and you also have your individual responses. Personally, when I'm looking at my responses, I like to click on this green button here. That shows me my responses in a sheet. Now I'm going to go to the Google Sheets, and if you've never seen a Google Sheet before, it looks like Excel, and it can be pretty overwhelming when you first look at it. But again, I'm just trying to show you what's out there. If this is something for you, great. If not, just keep your mind open to new learning and then think, okay, not for me, but let's go. So here's what the Google Sheet looks like. And again, I have all my questions at the top. This observation is being made by the student's name, the observation, the 4 frames of the curriculum, and any other students that it also applies to. So the question is, how is this useful when it comes to writing a communication of learning? Now we know that these communications of learning, what we're now calling the report card, really are focused on stories of what we are seeing the students doing. This helps make it very real for the parents, very personalized for the students. So what I do in this situation is I just highlight my top row, and I'm going to go to Data, Filter, because I'm only writing about one student at a time. So let's say I'm going to write about Juliet. So I'm going to click Juliet. I want to see, oops, sorry. I'm going to clear everyone, and then I'm going to write about Juliet. So now I have all my observations that only apply to Juliet. And when I come to write the report card, I'm actually writing the section this term on belonging and contributing. Clear all, select yes, and here we go. 2 great learning stories about Juliet. I have the date that they were written. I have who made that observation in case I want to go back and talk to that educator. And I have some rich information. And I can also see that actually this observation applies to self-regulation and well-being as well. So I may want to save that for another time. But this is just a kind of a simple way of seeing what you have for each student in each frame, and also tracking to make sure that you have something for each student in each frame. And of course, more than just one, because we're always looking for that growth in learning piece. So that is just a quick overview of how you might use a Google form for recording your observations. I will share a link to this Google form, which you can then copy if you'd like to use this as a template, or of course, make up your own. So that is just a little example. And again, if this is something that you guys want to learn more about, feel free to get in touch.